You're watching PowerNation. Today on Detroit Muscle, we hit the road in our 73 Javelin and spin the rollers on the DYNO. But before we can get to all of that, ooh, shiny. The great red, white, and blue is known for many wonderful things. American Muscle, for example. And then there's this, a product of the American Motors Company. For better or worse, well, that will have to be your decision. Whenever we kicked off this project, we were looking to build something unique and fun. Whenever it comes to working on anything AMC, well, to be different isn't hard at all.
Boy, you got that right, buddy. As for the good time part of this project, we are finishing it. All we have left to do is wrap up the exhaust, shine up that paint, practice rotating the earth on the dyno, and then cruising it back out on the street.
Now, you want to do exhaust, or do you want to do some sanding and polishing on it?
You don't want me sanding and polishing, so I guess I'll do exhaust.
All righty. Our goal for today is to take our paint job from pretty good to perfection. And what that's going to involve is some cutting and buffing. That's where you wet sand your surface and then polish it back out. Now, whenever we started down the path of painting this car, well, we knew that we were going to end up with a subject just like this. We began with a couple of coats of sealer, followed by some base, followed by some graphics, followed by some candy, and then several coats of clear. None of this is unusual in this situation. With a normal paint job, you have about a third of those coats. With every layer that you apply, potentially that's more opportunity to get debris into your paint job. Also, you can accumulate more and more texture. So before we even pulled the trigger on the paint gun the first time, we knew that we were going to have to buff it to take our paint job to the next level. To do something like this, you need to plan on spending a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of tools, just some sanding blocks, paper, and a bucket of water. Whenever I'm wet sanding, I like to use a sponge or a squeegee to clean the surface. What that does is remove the material that's in the water, and it makes sanding a whole lot more efficient because all that debris, well, keeps the paper from touching the surface. When color sanding, you want to be consistent with every stroke. Working in smaller sections helps to ensure your accuracy. And a tip for you, the more water, the faster the cut when sanding. And a couple of people even say a few drops of dish soap in your bucket helps as well. We've completely sanded our hood with 1000 grit, and I've stepped up to 1500, and then I'll follow that with 2000. Then we'll finally be ready to apply some polish and get the luster back to this hood. Now, I'm really excited what this hood's gonna look like when we're done, but I'm even more excited how that AMC is gonna sound with that exhaust Daniel Scott.
Now, what we have here is a side pipe kit that we got from Summit Racing. It's going to help give our old AMC Javelin that mean street machine look we've been going for. This is a 60-inch chrome side exhaust kit made by Patriot. It's got large inlet and outlet pipes that make it a low back pressure system, and 6-sided louvered core mufflers giving us that tough muscle car sound. It comes with these chrome heat shields that just scream 70s, and that's perfect because it's exactly what we're going for. Also in the kit are all the clamps, brackets, and hardware that you'll need to perform the installation. And once we get these things sitting pretty under the car, it will complete our retro styling package on our Javelin.
This kit is pretty much straightforward. It only takes a few minutes to assemble, a couple of U-bolts, and a nut or two, and we're off to the races. Now, placement is in the eye of the pipe holder. For ours, we wanted to make sure we could still see those shiny slapper bars. After marking center, we used a step drill for our pilot hole and finalized the diameter with the proper size drill bit that matches our threaded insert.
All right, guys, what we've done is we've drilled our thread insert holes into the rocker panel. Now, by doing this, we've exposed some bare metal. So what I like to do is I like to put a little strip caulking or some sealant on these thread certs so we don't cause any rust or any problems in the future.
Using inserts like this makes it convenient to mount numerous things. And trust me, with a handy tool like this, will make you question how you did things without it. To feed the exhaust, Daniel fashioned up a quick 90 to mount to the header, and then simply clamped it to our rocker panel tubas.
Man, them some fancy looking twice pipes right there, if I do say so myself. Now, I've got one more to finish up on the other side, but in the meantime, Tommy's gonna show you guys what a man running a buffer looks like.
Well, we got our hood all finished sanded at 2000 grit, and we're pretty much ready to start adding back on all that shine. And to do that, we're gonna be using a product from Sonax. It's their perfect finish. What's really nice about this setup is it's only one step. It isn't 2 or 3 different pads, 2 or 3 different products. We're gonna be using a green medium density foam pad with our buffer here, and it's gonna look like $1 million when we're done. We're gonna have kind of a buffing 101 here. You guys just saw me slap this thing on there. Well, there's actually a procedure you wanna do. You don't want it all crooked because you know it's gonna spin around all crazy. Also, another question that people oftentimes ask is how much compound do you apply? Well, it kind of all depends on the pad. This one is brand new and doesn't have any material on it. So we're gonna have to up the amount to load it properly. And then we'll dial it back to the rule of thumb, 3 or 4 daubs, about a dime size. With perfect finish, you want to start out slow at about 800 RPM. That prevents the compound from slinging off the pad and helps keep you much cleaner. Then we'll crank it up to 1200 RPM. And you always want to keep the buffer moving. I'll polish this in small sections like I did when sanding. Cutting and buffing is a tedious process, but seeing a transition like this, going from a cloudy, sanded surface to a shiny, lustrous reflection with just a couple of passes makes it all worthwhile. As a conclusion, well, that sanding was a little bit labor intensive. Polishing, not so much. Our results, they're tremendous. We started with dirt nibs and an orange peel texture and finished it off with a reflection that looked so deep you could reach your arm into it. Coming up, our serenading sound through side pipes and our power number.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're down here in Engine Power with Pat and Frankie, and we've got our AMC on the dyno. Now, this is the first time you guys have seen this car completely assembled. We've got the hood on, the paint's all shined up, and our exhausts are correctly installed, thanks to yours truly. Now, what do you guys think's fixing to happen?
Well, to start off, this thing is gorgeous, right? The paint's beautiful. Obviously, we like the engine because, we had a little bit to do with that
Absolutely.
one. But and it rolled in. It was very rumbly, sounded great. So I'm excited to see this thing turn the rollers.
Man, that's good.
I love the side pipes. I mean, the chrome, just the way they go down the side, the whole length. I think it really goes with the paint job, which I also love, but the side pipes, very nice.
Good deal.
I have a serious 70s flashback. When I was a kid growing up, there was a lot of these running around, these type of cars. And if you had a car with Cragars on it with big tires sitting in the yard, you were cool. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this car looks like it's running 200 miles an hour while it's sitting still.
Well, it just may run 200 mile an hour on the roller. What rear gear is in this thing?
I believe it's 308.
That's super steep. So I think we're going to have to dyno in second gear. Otherwise, we'll have a wheel speed of literally in excess of 170.
Right.
We're not going to do that with those balloons on the back. So.
Yeah, well, that was Tommy's choice, so we'll just blame him for that.
Just throw him right under the bus on the tire. Now, as far as how much power it's going to make, this thing made 337 on the engine dyno. What transmission's in this?
It's got a 904 3-speed in it.
904 3-speed. Okay, well, I think, what did this thing make before?
It made about 130 the last time we had it on the chassis dyno, and I guarantee you we're going to break that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it's definitely going to be above 200.
Awesome.
The number's
Awesome.
going to start with a 2.
Yeah, for sure.
This isn't a race car. This is a street car.
Okay.
This is something that's supposed to be reliable with the injection. This is something that cold starts well, drives around well, doesn't give you any problems. And if you want to take it to this drag strip, you can, and it will it'll do everything you want. You can drive it there, have some fun, drive it back.
Awesome. So if we have 100 more than we started with, basically, then we've had a pretty good successful day.
I think you're right. So
I think we can get there.
all right.
I think we can do it.
Well, let's get some heat in it and see what happens.
All right.
All right. Go for it.
All right. That's not bad starting out. That's
Yeah.
223.
And 233 for torque.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That's nice. I like that.
Nice and smooth, too.
Sounded good. Maybe get a little bit more heat in the transmission. Maybe
Yeah.
make a couple
Yeah.
more bangs on her. But how the air fuels and everything look okay?
Fuels look fine. Everything's good. We're good on temperature and speed and everything
right.
else.
Nice.
Yeah. We already made over 200.
That's right. That's
We're
what
good.
we want.
Good thing we picked second, because you're going about 110 at the top.
That's 110
That'll work.
second
That's
gear.
faster than those tires need to go.
How many cars you know do 110 in second gear with this age? That's pretty
That's
cool.
right.
Whoa, go ahead. All right, she's got a little heat in her right there.
Yeah.
242.
Yeah, buddy, it's over 100 what we was.
Yeah, 242 and 236.
Man, that's over 100 from where we
That's
started.
officially.
You're finally burning the smoke out of the side pipes,
Good.
too.
Those pipes are
Yeah.
gonna smoke forever.
Hey, man, that's part of the effect.
Yeah, nice.
And so we've already eclipsed the 100
Yeah.
over on the tire.
Man, I can't wait to tell Tommy. He'll never believe this.
I'm
Yeah, I
officially
know.
impressed. That's
This thing is sweet.
man, that is nice. Modern fuel injection. You know, everything runs nice. Nice part about
Yeah.
this car, it's the original engine. This is
That's
311 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No leaks, not hot.
110
power.
more than where we started. I think we can't do any better than that.
Boy, that's very, very good. I like that. This is a well put together. Someone's going to have a lot of fun in this.
yeah.
Hopefully, you know, if whoever ends up with this, maybe I'll buy it.
Hey, hopefully.
This will look good in the old
It's
yard
awesome.
right here. So
Yeah.
It's awesome, man. You can go cruising on Friday night and
yeah,
try not to
yeah.
get yourself in a street race.
This was. Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you, this one will attract some attention because someone sees those big old fat tires, they're going to want
right.
to run you. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and them side pipes. Don't ever forget about them.
Oh, yeah.
that's right.
Very
Man,
cool.
congratulations. This thing is nice.
Good deal.
Looks
good
good.
deal, man. I appreciate you guys' help.
Yeah, man.
Well, we'll get her off so you can start driving her and enjoying
Sounds
it.
like a plan. Let's get it unstrapped.
Up next, we take our retro piece of muscle out for a spin. Next on Detroit Muscle. The time is finally here. The Javelin's ready to get back out on the highway after its retro makeover.
So we're going to go grab a bite to eat, enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Toss me that rag. You know, it didn't take a whole lot to get this AMC from stagnant to stunning.
That's right. When we picked this old Javelin, we knew that we had a jewel. We didn't want to start with a pile. Well, a pile of rust, that is. So after doing some digging, we finally found us a candidate. It rode nice, it drove well, and if a person just wanted a cruiser, it would do that too. And with that being said, it made a perfect choice for what we had up our sleeve.
The stock 304 didn't run all that bad. As for power, well, really didn't have all that much. And the dyno told the story.
We stopped by and hung out with the fellas down at Engine Power and strapped this thing down to the rollers just to see what it would do. After a few pulls, we ended up with a whopping 133 horsepower, which isn't too far from the power numbers it had rolling out of the factory.
We wanted more performance and really wanted to turn our small cubic power plant into a powerhouse. So we dove right in, stripped it down, and sent it down to Pat and Frankie.
After a bit of machining, a good bit of go-fast parts, and some tuning, they had this thing singing one heck of a sweet song. With a grand total of 329 horsepower was a vast improvement. And out of an engine that is just over 300 cubic inches isn't too bad.
While those boys were doing their thing, it was time for us to do our thing, starting with the paint. We wanted this Javelin to look aggressive and tasteful at the same time. With AMCs of this era, it's easy to say that they are a bit voluptuous. So, if we complemented the lines and the curvature of this body, in the end, we would have us something special. With a couple of stripes, a splash of a few killer colors from Summit Racing, followed by some sweet candy, that did the trick.
Dude, I'm starving. With our snazzy new paint, we just needed a few groovy accessories to complete this street machine makeover.
Yeah, that paint and several throwback components are what transformed our AMC into this altered, muscled up creation. Air shocks and slapper bars were a must. Any dignified muscle car from back in the day was hiked up on the backside and showing off that glistening chrome on the bottom. Our ride had to be the same. The best part about both of these upgrades is that you get a lot of bang for your buck.
While we're on the subject of shiny stuff, I've got one word for you: Cragars. Young or old, if you call yourself a car guy, you know what these are. I'd wager that this wheel would have to be the most recognized custom wheel, hands down. And with our combo of big and littles, you see why.
Brother, I'm feeling me some onion rings.
Yeah, sounds good. Now this piece of Detroit just needed one more thing to finish it off. It looked nice, but it just needed something.
You think you're gonna get the jumbo one here?
Yeah.
What he's talking about, well, some vehicles come from the factory with these. You know, the cool stuff, like Corvettes, long-nosed Peterbilts. Oh yeah, those are real nice. It hitting the spot?
Oh yeah.
Now, I'm definitely proud of the way this thing turned out.
Yeah, it's got trick paint, a lot of chrome, plenty of performance, and all the attitude.
After finishing up our grub, we were headed back to the shop. You know, there's something that just feels right whenever you're grabbing some fresh air and sitting behind the wheel of some vintage muscle. If you're looking to store your ride, one thing's for sure is you don't want to put it in harm's way. A custom form-fit car cover from Covercraft can help protect your ride.
The fabric is engineered to protect against minor garage dents and dings that oftentimes seem to mysteriously happen when no one is around.
The material is also highly breathable to prevent vapors and heat from building up under the cover. It's also super soft and won't harm glass, chrome, or your paint.
So if you want to preserve, protect, and shelter your baby, you might want to check out Covercraft.
Coming up, have you lost your edge in the shop? Well, we'll show you how to sharpen your bits.
Well, that ain't gonna cut it. There's nothing worse than having a dull drill bit and needing to drill one size hole and you've only got one bit that's the right size in the whole shop. Well, luckily today, I'm gonna show you guys how to sharpen them the old-fashioned way using nothing but a bench grinder. Now, when you've got a dull drill bit, well, there's a couple of things you need to look for. Is the tip discolored? Is it chipped? Or is it just worn out? In this case, ours is just worn out. Everything else looks pretty good. Now, this is a high-speed steel drill bit that's pretty common. It's got a 118-degree tip and it's jobber length. With a standard bench grinder, I'm going to teach you guys how to straighten this thing back out and make it cut like brand new. There are a couple things you want to watch out for when you're sharpening any drill. First, you don't want to overheat the tip. If you overheat the tip, it won't maintain its strength. Also, when you're sharpening, let's say a drill bit with a chip in it, you want to make sure that you grind all the way to the bottom of the chip. If you don't do this, you'll end up with an inconsistent cutting edge. As I'm sharpening this bit, you'll notice a few things. I'm grinding only a little at a time. This goes a long way. Little by little, I'm removing material on the heel just behind the cutting edge. As I'm doing this, I'm moving from one face to the other, giving the bit time to cool off between hits on the grinder. Now, by checking my work after each grind, slowly but surely, our cutting edge is being redefined by removing material from our heel. Well, that's about what we need. We've got a 118-degree tip, our point is directly in the middle, we've got good relief angles on both sides, and our cutting edges are parallel. Now we're going to put it back in our drill, get back to work.
If you're a little intimidated to sharpen those bits the old school way with sparks flying, Matco offers the Drill Doctor 750X, which will get you the same results, but calm your nerves. This sharpener is quick to set up, allows you to sharpen masonry, carbide, high-speed, and cobalt bits, just to name a few. And it works with drills from 3/32 to 3/4 of an inch. I bet the first time you take this thing out on a test drive and see how easy it is, you end up resharpening all those old bits in the drawer. Now that's all we got for today, and guys, don't forget to go check out our project pages and see the current status of all our builds. A lot of your questions will be answered with before and after pics, list of the parts used, and links to all the shows so that you can get caught up on the projects. Remember, check out PowerNationTV.com. See you, bye.